One of the frequent challenges which non-residents face is उनका इंडिया में पैसा है. You have funds in India in your either NRO account, resident account or NRE account, and you want to understand how will that money go out of the country. What is the process to be followed for repatriation of those funds? And there's not enough clarity upon this. So here in this video, we'll go through in detail with screen shares and the relevant forms and processes to help you understand how funds can be moved outside from India to your respective country and what processes are required to be followed. So do stay till the end so that you are able to understand all of these processes. Before we move ahead, a quick introduction about ourselves.
My name is CA Puneet Agarwal. I'm the founder of Banyan FA LLP, where we are one-stop shop for all finance needs of people. Please follow us on Instagram and YouTube, where we release weekly videos related to personal finance.
So we need to know about a general regulation in India that repatriation up to $1 million, or in Indian rupees terms, if you want to say, it's roughly 8.2 crores worth of amount as in 2024, can freely go out of the country. Uspe jada, there are no regulations as such. All what you have to prove that that money has been appropriately taxed. On this applies to all type of funds which are there in your bank account except NRE. If you have funds in your NRE account, as per my understanding, there are no limits as such. Whatever amount you have in your NRE can go freely outside the country. In fact, if you are having thoughts about how to move funds from NRE account to your respective country, you can avoid going any further. I'll give you an answer. Go to your respective banker, say I have funds in my NRE account. He will give you a wire transfer form. Fill that form, give it to them, and the money goes out of the country. In some cases, this can be electronic as well. But vast majority of cases which we see are where they have money in their old resident accounts or in their NRO accounts, non-resident ordinary accounts. This money cannot freely go outside the country. And if you thought NRE se paisa freely can go, I can transfer from my NRO to NRE and then take it out. Again, there are gates in front of NRE which will not allow the NRO money to get into NRE. Otherwise, it can freely go out of the country. Why? Because the income tax authority wants to ensure that before the money leaves the country, it has been fully taxed. How does it ensure that this is happening? The onus of that has been put across on chartered accountants who have to give a certificate in form 15CB where they attest that they have gone through all of the books of accounts and the records and confirm that the amount of money which the non-resident intends to transfer out has been fully taxed. So effectively, when you are trying to move the money from your NRO account to either NRE or from NRO account to outside India, broadly, you need to follow these following steps. 1. You have to take a certificate from a chartered accountant in form 15CB. We'll just look in a couple of minutes. How does it look like? You have to give a self-declaration in form 15CA from your income tax website portal as well. A chartered accountant can help in that as well. You have to give a declaration as per Foreign Exchange Management Act or FEMA, which effectively says that you've complied with all the requirements and your overall remittance is within the limits. Third, the respective banker may also have its declaration and there might be a remittance form or the transfer form which they would want you to fill. How does this whole thing look like? Let's go through on a screen share to help you understand. The first step, you need to visit a chartered accountant and ask him his assistance to give you a tax certificate for starting with the transfer. Over here, what you see is called form 15CB. Broadly, very high level, what you will see the language it says. That a chartered accountant is giving a certificate stating that I have examined the agreement between, or basically it's saying that I've examined all your documents and relevant, I do certify matlab I'm giving you a 100% comfort income tax department that the money has been taxed. So it will have the details of the non-resident, which may be you in this case, which country the money is going, that those details are here, and then it talks about the bank from where the money would go, and then it talks about whether the money which needs to go, has it been properly taxed or not. So in this example, we have got a notation from the chartered accountant that the person is already invested in tax-free bonds and no further tax is required and hence the money is fully taxed, right? And then there are other sections as well. Towards the end, it will tell how much money can be considered for moving outside the country and under what section of Income Tax Act 11 tax has been deducted. So that is a part where number 11, 12 and 13 comes into play. And finally, the details of the chartered accountant, which shows under which, what is the address of the chartered accountant, specific identification under which he's giving his certificate. So this is what 15CB is, very, very critical. Once 15CB is received, this certificate is then required to be uploaded on the income tax website, and another declaration which is form 15CA, this is you, the non-resident, has to do. They have to be, it's basically like a declaration from your end that I am this, my details in terms of who the non-resident is, where does he live, the details of the person who's receiving the funds, right? Those details comes in, which bank country it is going, how much amount we're talking about, And finally, a signature of that particular person, a digital signature comes into play that this is the amount Form 15CA is being used for. The next one is there is a FEMA declaration which is used across most of the case. So here I've got an example from one of the biggest banks over here. Declarations can be relatively similar across banks, but what it is saying, it is to be completed by an applicant for transfer from NRO to NRE. It will be relatively the same if you want to transfer from NRO to even outside the country. Effectively, what it is saying, from where it will go, how much amount we are talking about, and a few of the declaration points. Expressly, the most important point is that you are transferring within $1 million limit provided by the Reserve Bank of India. Okay? This is signed by you and given to the banker. Another is the specific request letter which is given to the bank. Over here, this is going to the HDFC Bank as an example. All of the banks may have similar declarations or requests where you're saying that please debit my NRO account and credit to NRE. If you're transferring these funds to your respective home country as well overseas, the declaration would be slightly different, but similar amount. If you see, it also kind of invokes those points that the money is being within the $1 million cap, and based upon that, the money can freely go out of the country. So the challenges which mostly people face is finding the chartered accountant who knows how this thing works, and also to prove to your chartered accountant that this money is taxed. Remember, over here, the risk is on the CA, on the chartered accountant, because he has to give a certificate that this money is taxed. So any diligent chartered accountant would actually request for lots of information from your end to confirm. Problem kahan aati hai? Let's say you purchase a property 20 years back. Let's say you purchase for 10 lakhs. Today you are selling it for, let's say, 1 crore. But the sale price and the purchase price, you can very well justify that this is capital gain. But since it was purchased so long ago, you may not have evidence to prove what was the source of that 10 lakhs, and you may struggle. The CA would obviously ask, can you please help me? Where did that 10 lakh money come from? Maybe originally used to buy the property. And your struggle would be, I have lost all records. It's 20 years back or 10 years back. So those situations, so what I would suggest, always look ahead. Because any money you send to India, and if you want to take it back, you may want to keep records, because if you want to move those money out, you will have to prove. Even better, do not do any transactions from NRO. All your financial investments should be done through NRE, because that money is fully kind of transferable outside the country. No hassles required with that. If you have any questions, any challenges, do note down in the comments box. I'll try to answer each and every question of yours. If you need any assistance, I'll also drop our contact email address, which you can use to take any assistance from our end. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.